Okay. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. They changed up YouTube streaming since last Sunday, I guess. It used to always be you would make like an event, and I would title it, Hanging with Mangg episode, whatever. And then I would click start streaming on OBS, and then it would give me a preview of the stream on YouTube, and then I could click go live. Now they've changed it so there's no events. You have one stream, and I have to rename the stream every time. And it just immediately goes live. So, I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure we're live. I really hope so. But, we're playing some Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. We had the PC release this week. Not a fantastic release on Steam, at least. I think, let me just check. If we go to the store page, yeah, it's sitting on mixed reviews still. That's rough. I mean, this is a big budget. It was a big game on PS4. Very hyped title. Coming to PC with mixed reviews. Obviously not because of the game itself. It's entirely because of the port. A lot of bugs, a lot of crashes, and a lot of performance issues. Now, I have not had any of the first two. I've yet to do any crash. Although, for some reason, my audio is now fucked up. That's weird. Like, one ear is way off. Yeah, I don't know what to do about... I don't know, man. Whatever. We're playing the game. Normally, I don't play with headphones unless I'm recording, but... I have not had any crashes. I really haven't had any, like, bugs or graphical bugs or anything like that. My main complaint, and it's not stopping me from playing, is the performance. I have a very high-end rig, practically as good as you can get with consumer-grade hardware. 2080 Ti and a 3950X, so it's pretty good. But there seems to be some sort of fundamental issue with the port. Right now, this is 21:9. So I'll show you. We got, well, we're in windowed mode, but trust me, that does not make a difference. I've tried everything. So this is 21:9 ratio, windowed mode, so like 3440 by 1440p. And we're on original graphics settings. So this is like akin to a PS4. Everything's basically on medium level, which is normally I never play a game on medium settings. So this is odd. And we're getting right now around 50 FPS. That's pretty rough. Normally though, and I do like that it supports super ultra wide right out the gate, which every game should, if possible. Every 3D game should, at least. Normally I play in 32:9 super ultra wide on ultra graphics for the most part, and I get around 45 FPS. So basically the same as I'm getting now. and sometimes that dips down to like 25. Like I just did a cauldron, which is like the underground sci-fi ruin area, and yeah, it was like a pretty steady 25 FPS throughout the whole thing. And so at first I was like, okay, something's clearly wrong with the ultra wide performance or something. It's not correct. Tried all sorts of different settings. Then I dropped it down to 16:9 ratio, put everything on lowest possible, and I put on the adaptive resolution or whatever, so that it will degrade the quality even further to try and hit your preferred FPS. So I had it trying to hit 120 FPS on the lowest of low. It basically looked like a PlayStation 1 game at that point, and I still couldn't get 120 FPS. It was at 100. So something is just drastically wrong with this port, and I'm certainly not an isolated case there. That's why it has mixed reviews. It's just a lot of people are having issues. For me, I can play it at 45 with 45 FPS, just because super ultra wide looks so good. And with ultra graphics settings, it just looks pretty good. And I'm not like a super FPS snob or anything. I just wish it was better. So I hope that they can fix it and get it up to, other, a standard that other games have nowadays. Because, like, I can play Red Dead 2 on PC in super ultra wide and get at least 70 FPS. But other than that, the game is still fun. I was a little worried because I just finished playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I actually got the Platinum Trophy for Ghost of Tsushima. I did everything. I was worried if I was not ready to go into another big open world game, but no, this game's just too damn good. I'm having a fun time still. Even though I already have played through it all completely, like 100% before on PS4. Still good. I wish the Rattler was better. It's kind of shit. But what are you going to do? Something's definitely wrong with the audio here, but whatever. I decided to play on hard difficulty this time. After my recent bout in Ghost of Tsushima on lethal difficulty, I figured, why the hell not? And I'm super excited for the sequel. It's going to be a barrel of fun, I'm sure. Yeah, I know. I knew, like, no matter what I did, the stream is going to be terrible. Even if I put it on 1080p or lower with, ultra low settings. It's just, the port is bad. I'm sure some people are streaming it and recording it, and it's fine. And people are saying that on their computers, it runs perfectly fine on Ultra and blah, blah, blah. But there are a lot of issues. Fortunately, I'm not doing a Let's Play of this. It's just hanging with Mangg, so it's not that big of a deal. Anyways. This week, on Mangg's LPs, I actually had a bit of a scare. I got locked out of my Google account for this channel. No, shut up, phone. Just because I said the word Google. What do you want? God, he's doing some crazy moves. Yeah. I woke up one morning and I got an email from Google saying that, like, there's been suspicious activity on your account. We have locked it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's certainly not good. I don't know what the suspicious activity was. It wouldn't really say anything. And then, so then I had to prove to them that myself, was the owner of the account so I could gain access back. And despite everything that I did, despite answering all their questions and all that, they continued to say that they could not prove that I was the owner of the account. And I mean, I spent like the whole day trying to get my account back, because not only do I use that account for this channel and LPs and stuff, and I like that, but it's also like my business email for the Exploring series. It's the one I have publicly listed that I get all sorts of, you know, emails from people discussing sponsorships and blah, blah, blah. So it's sort of, I mean, I could change it, but it's like, I've had this account for years and years. I'd like to have it back. Finally, randomly, like late at night, after crawling through all sorts of help articles and all sorts of stuff, I went through some other link through Gmail's process or whatever, and that let me change the password. Even though they couldn't prove that I had access, that I own the account, they let me change the password, which seems a little shady. And once I changed the password, then they let me back in, and it was all fine. So I don't know. And even though I couldn't access the account from my computer during the day, on other devices like my phone, there was no problem. So I don't know. I don't know. It worked out. Anyways. We had more Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. We finished A Way Out on PC on Two Brothers Play. So next weekend we're going to start Outward, which I'm pretty interested in. It seems like a fun little fantasy Skyrim Souls-like, but not. And it's got split-screen co-op, which is such a rare thing nowadays, especially for a game like that. You would never expect split-screen co-op. So pretty excited to give that a shot. Last of Us will finish, I want to say, tomorrow night. I think tomorrow night, Monday night, I'll be uploading the last video for that. Ghost of Tsushima will go on for another week. And my original plan after Last of Us, Outward is hard to get into, but it's awesome. Played it for 40 hours straight with a friend. I've heard that it's exceptionally difficult for, like, when you first start. Like, it's harder than a Dark Souls game, which concerns me a little bit, since my brother is not at all really into difficult video games. My hope is that I could sort of just be the frontline sort of combatant, and he could just stand in the back with a bow or something and try and never take damage. But we're not going to do a full playthrough. Obviously, it's a massive game. We're just going to dedicate a few videos to it and see if we like it. Glad you could be here, Luca the Lemon. My original plan after finishing Last of Us 2 was to do Carrion, which is a new sort of side-scrolling game where you play as a monster killing scientists or something like that. But then I found out that the game in its current state is only like 90 minutes long. And that's just a bit too short for right now. I need something slightly longer than that. So instead, we're going to be doing Hellpoint, which is a new Souls-like indie game, sci-fi Souls-like. Which should provide a bit more substantial of an experience. I've recorded one video for that so far. Seems pretty difficult. I mean, in the first video, like, the basic mooks you come across are no problem whatsoever. It's just basic shit. And then suddenly they just throw these big-ass, like, knight dudes at you that just, like, one-shot you, and it seems insane. So we'll see how that goes.
Get it while I can.
No, I mean, I'll definitely play Carrion, at least on my own. I guess I could just make, like, one video of it and beat the game. Or I could stream it. Because I mean, it does look cool. Just usually for Let's Plays, I don't pick that short of stuff. Come on, dude. How you gonna do that to me? Hard difficulty is hard. It's not like Ghost of Tsushima. God, everything hits so damn hard. I guess it is like Ghost of Tsushima, except you don't have any of the cheesy bullshit from that game. And it's on lethal difficulty. Alright. Hellpoint sounds like Souls. I mean... Well, yeah. Well, I compared it to Demon Souls when you find, like, the Red Eye Knight. But the Red Eye Knight was stashed in a corner somewhere. And he was completely optional. And you knew he was, like, a fucking badass. And you could just be like, ah, screw it. And just, you know, go where you're supposed to. These enemies are, like, right in front of the fog gate leading to a boss. Which is just kind of crazy. But... you know, that's, you know, maybe I just got to crack the code and figure things out. Like The Surge 2. I had a lot of trouble with that game at a certain point until I figured things out. So that'll start on Wednesday. After Ghost of Tsushima, we're going to be doing Dragon Quest IV. And then depending on how exactly things play out, I'm not sure what will happen, but start of September, Avengers is coming out, and we're going to be playing that. I'm pretty interested in the game. I'm pretty interested in that game. I don't like that Spider-Man is PS4 exclusive. That bums me out, because I do like Spider-Man, but you'd be crazy to think that I'm not going to be getting it on PC. I am not playing the beta or anything like that, because whatever, I'll just, whatever. The game's not that far off. And Kotaku played the beta. They weren't impressed. Polygon played the beta. They were impressed. So who knows what to think. But I like, they talked about, like, how each character you play as plays really differently. Like, Thor plays like Kratos from the new God of War, with, like, Mjolnir, and he can throw it and bring it back and use his fists, and, like, he plays like Kratos. Whereas Iron Man plays like Anthem, where you have, like, the suit and you're flying around and raining down hell and stuff like that. So that's, like, really different. Captain America plays like Batman from the Arkham Asylum games. Whereas Black Widow plays like more of like a Devil May Cry character, where you're air juggling enemies and shooting them with your guns and shit like that. And then the Hulk is just fucking insanity, just smashing everything in sight, which is awesome. There's way few games in life where you get to play as the Hulk, so I'm super excited. So yeah, I don't know exactly how the game's all gonna work with, like, single player versus multiplayer, if it's even worth it playing single player, but we're gonna make videos on it. We're gonna do a let's play. Hopefully it's really good and I get some other people involved outside of the let's play to just play around with, because that sounds cool. Thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077? I mean, I'm excited. I'm a big fan of cyberpunk as a genre.
Become corrupted watchers.
And I like that it's first person. I know The Witcher 3 is like this holy grail of modern video game goodness that people just adore. I just can't get into that game. I just can't get into that game because of the combat. I just wish the combat was like Dark Souls. If the combat in Witcher 3 was like Dark Souls, like Dark Souls 3 or something like that, then I think it would be amazing. But as it is, it seems like the main draw of The Witcher 3 is, like, the story and the exploration and, like, the plot lines and and it's just like, I don't care about any of that because the combat's not fun. So I'm really glad they're not working on The Witcher 4. And they instead went in a very different route. First-person RPG with Cyberpunk. My hope is that it's going to be sort of like a Fallout, like a new Fallout game, but way better. That's my hope. They are a good company. And I do respect The Witcher 3 as a video game, as an achievement. I just don't personally find it that enjoyable. So I'm hoping that that I enjoy Cyberpunk, because I think it will be pretty cool.
There's a corruption boiling off it.
Yeah. So that's what's happening on this channel. Over on the Exploring series, I released a video on SCP-4840, the Demon Lancelot, and the flying city of Autopapadopolis. I'm not sure why people thought it was such a great achievement for me that I pronounced Autopapadopolis. It's really not that complicated when you look at the word and just sound it out. But even DJ Cactus was like, "Oh, you nailed it." It's like, I mean, because it's especially because he includes like a phonetic pronunciation of it in the article. You really have no excuse for mispronouncing it. But Cactus really enjoyed the video. He gave it his stamp of approval, which makes me happy. We're just, we're like a little team here. He writes some incredible shit that I could never do, and I explain it, which does not seem like that big of a deal, but he thinks it's cool, and other people think it's cool, so it all works out. He really is, the most prolific author on the site. I think to the chagrin of some of the other authors. I mean, there are plenty that really respect what he does, but I mean, if you asked, like, any given SCP fan how many authors on the site they could name, I think DJ Cactus would be the most named one. and probably not many authors after that. Which is a shame. It's not like I exclusively cover Cactus stuff or anything. And there's my favorite article, 3001, wasn't written by him. But he's certainly making a name for himself. So it's just very nice for me that I have his approval for putting together these videos. Because I think some SCP authors don't like SCP YouTubers. There was like no authors were named, but a while back there was a bit of a hissy fit that certain authors were not getting any or enough credit on YouTube videos featuring their works, and they were just not happy with any of it because they just sort of, their identity basically gets swept aside, whereas the YouTuber, gets all the views, they get all the, the admiration from viewers, that, no one cares who the author was, because they're just like, oh, I'm watching this video, I'll never go to the website, and just, oh, the Volgan and SCP Illustrated, they're great, they're so great, and it's like, they wouldn't be doing jack shit, and I wouldn't be doing jack shit here if not for the authors. So, they certainly deserve a lot of credit. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit different because I don't just read the article. So I am transforming it a little bit. And I think that's why Cactus likes my stuff. Because I explain it. So, anyways, it was a good video. It was a popular video. And he is eventually planning to write more in that sort of series. Sorry, let me see. Let me just see exactly what he said. Hold on. Not that this is super important, but this is some inside info here from the Cactus Man himself that he posted on my Discord. Gosh, there's a lot of shit on my Discord. Okay, yes. So he's going to write 2 other articles for the other 2 knight demons. So there's Lancelot and Lahire, which already have articles. He's going to write one for Ogier and I forgot the 4th one. Frank. I don't know. Then he's going to do one more to tie up some loose ends, whatever that entails. And then he's going to write a really long thing to, like, finish out the whole story. So I assume something akin to the Ouroboros cycle, which is going to be awesome. Is exploring Roblox a possibility? Well, I don't know what Roblox is. I assume that is not some sort of epic fantasy book series. Regardless, it's the same answer no matter what you said. Because I don't determine what series I cover. Which I think is a very unique thing about my channel that not a lot of people grasp. Because it seems sort of insane for the content creator not to have any input over what videos they cover. But yeah, whenever I finish a series, I put up a poll asking what series I should cover next. The choices on that poll are the runner-ups from the last poll. So I have no input there. It's just what was around the last poll that didn't win. And then the second poll is the top 3 from the first poll plus the top most upvoted comments from the first video. I just pick like the top 3 or 4 that have the most likes for suggestions. So in no way during that process do I have any input. The only input I have is that if something wins that I really desperately don't want to do because I have 0 interest or whatever reason, I do reserve the right to veto, but that has never happened. So to answer your question, no matter what series you want me to cover, it's possible if it wins the polls. But I do reserve the right to veto, so it's hard to say. But I've thought about vetoing stuff in the past, but I gave it a shot despite my lack of knowledge and my apprehensiveness. Like, I was super nervous about covering Norse mythology because I knew jack shit about that. And that was like, I mean, that's like a real fucking topic. That's not like SCP, you know, just people writing crazy horror, fantasy, whatever. People study Norse mythology in college. So I was really nervous about covering that, but it ended up being one of my favorite series. So this week I worked on the follow-up video to SCP-3004, Imago. This was covering 2 SCPs. One is Cousin Johnny. The other is just sort of a random one that happened to also be connected to Imago.
Override them if I don't spook them.
And I'll be honest, I mainly did this video out of obligation because I had mentioned in the Imago video that there were others. People really wanted me to cover Cousin Johnny.
Got it.
But Cousin Johnny by itself is not that long of a topic. So I included the other one because it was connected. Somewhat. I'm sure some people will enjoy it. I wasn't crazy about it because it's mostly just like gratuitous body horror. And that's always tough for like the artwork because I can't show gratuitous body horror. So it's just like pictures of bugs. And the worst part is, after I finished this video that I wasn't super excited about, it ends up getting marked as not suitable for most advertisers.
Not yet.
Due to discussion of massive loss of human life or controversial social issues or something like this is what they marked it as. And I was like, this seems ridiculous because I've talked about plenty of SCPs that involve massive loss of fictional human life. You know, like the Death Cave where literally everything in the fucking universe dies. Or Apotheosis where, you know, like 98% of humanity dies. And I don't know what controversial social issue would be in bug people. I thought maybe like the religious aspect, but the Imago video is not hindered in any way, and it's basically the same thing, so I have no idea. So I immediately got on YouTube support chat. I explained the issue. The guy was like, okay, well, let me check out your channel and your other videos. He spent like 25 minutes watching my other videos, I guess. This was apparently his test to see if it was a legitimate complaint. I guess it was, because he forwarded it to the internal team. Because YouTube support can't do anything on their own. So now it's in the hands of the internal team for another review. It's been about 24 hours. I've not heard from them yet. As of right now, it's still unsuitable. And hopefully it gets sorted out in the next, like, 10 hours. Otherwise, that would be a bummer. Not the end of the world. I mean, I'll survive. But it's a bummer. Because usually, you know, I have a very good experience with YouTube. I don't have that many issues. So whenever something does crop up, it's like, oh, damn. I forgot. I forgot how YouTube can be. the fuck? There were 4 of them, like, all mating with one another here. Um... Either way, the video will go on. Next week, I'm not exactly sure right now what I'm covering. It's a tie between an SCP-001 proposal, which I don't cover too many 001 proposals, although I should, and another DJ Cactus article. Another long, winding one. This one is sort of a sad one that's connected to SCP-4000, which is pretty interesting. I'm also putting together a video for the D&D series on owl bears. You know, it's not going to be a 20-minute video, I can tell you that much. There's not a whole lot to say about owl bears, but it felt wrong to skip them. I mean, that's a pretty iconic D&D monster. They deserve a video. If I did one on carrion crawlers, I got to do one on owl bears. But yeah, other than that, life goes on. The channel's doing pretty well. Actually, it's doing absurdly well all around. July was like my best month of all time, which is pretty crazy. Since we're in the middle of this pandemic and it's a summer month, you really wouldn't expect it to be that great. So I think it's going to be a very big holiday season. October's coming up, so I'll be churning out those sort of history, you know, serial killer videos again. Not sure exactly what I'm going to cover. Possibly Jonestown this year, I think. Those history videos are pretty hit and miss. Most of them don't do that well, but then you get like the Zodiac Killer video, which exploded and did absurdly well, so who knows? I can't see shit. Oh, midair. Exploring Columbine. I like weirder horror, like weirder history stuff. Where like cults and stuff are way more interesting to me than mass shootings. I think mass shootings are probably still little sort of sensitive issues. I can definitely imagine a Columbine video getting demonetized, whereas Jonestown, probably not. Like, crazy death cults have just always kind of fascinated me. So that's why I'm leaning towards. I would like to cover another serial killer, though. I'm not sure which. Maybe Ed Gein. Just a good old Wisconsin boy. I don't know. We'll see. That's a discussion for October. I'll probably make a post on Twitter seeing what people are interested in. But like the Salem witch trials, that was a really cool video to work on. There were so many things I just did not know about that. And like witch hunts in Europe and stuff. So there's all sorts of interesting topics I can cover. All right. Yeah, I guess there's not a whole lot else to talk about. From the sound of it, we're not going to be doing like any RPGs online. I guess it sort of fell flat, and we're waiting until we reconvene in person. Which really the entire holdup is me. I'm the only one that doesn't want to meet in person. And that's my right. And it is what it is. It's a bummer they don't want to play online. They're fine playing board games online, but it's just RPGs is a no-go. So I don't know. I mean, it could be quite a while until we get back together for our in-person RPGs. So either they'll change their minds, or I might have to find some other group to play with. Which is a little tricky, since most groups just play Dungeons and Dragons, and I have no interest in doing that. There probably aren't too many online groups playing Shadow the Demon Lord. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. This last Monday, we all played Overwatch together. It was a pretty fun time. I enjoyed it, and I think that's what we're doing tomorrow. I'll possibly stream it. We'll see. Again, I don't know how interesting that is. But yeah, I suppose that's it. Not a super interesting time in life this year, but you know, pandemic. Pretty shit. Alrighty. So check out the hopefully monetized bug video tomorrow on the Exploring series. Video on owl bears later this week. On this channel, the finale of The Last of Us Part 2, some more Ghost of Tsushima, the start of Hellpoint, and the start of Outward on Two Brothers Play. Plenty of stuff to come. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg, and I'll see you fine folks next week.